Hello, my name is Brian Peffley. I teach pastry arts at the Lebanon County Career and Technology Center.
My name is Scott Craig. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm the executive chef at Coolest Asia Club in Highlands, North Carolina.
Okay, my name is Jean-François Suto. I'm from France originally, but I live in Louisburg in West Virginia, and I work at the Greenbrier Resort.
I'm Susan Notter. I live in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm the owner of Elizabeth Moore Chocolates.
Hi, I'm Cher Harris. I'm the corporate pastry chef for Hershey Entertainment Resort.
Hello, I am Chef Kimberly Brock Brown. I am from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm the current national president of the American Culinary Federation.
For me, a certified Master Pastry Chef is a chef that has attained a level of excellency within the profession, whether that be mastering different types of production from, petit fours, entremets, showpiece level, laminated doughs, that kind of thing, to also their influence in the industry. So have they competed? Are they an industry leader? Are they in a mentorship role? Is it a chef that others look up to for motivation, guidance, trends, that kind of thing? So I think somebody at the master level, it encompasses kind of what somebody's done their whole life, over many, many years, not just training for the test, but what they do in their everyday life, and how many people they influence, who they inspire to be better, who they educate, who they teach. That's all part of that mastery. And I know, in Europe, in order to train apprentices, a store or a kitchen or a conditoraya, a confiserie, they have to have a master pastry chef on site, employed, in order to train, in order to have apprentices. So the standards get maintained.
Certified Master Pastry Chef has many years of experience and knowledge that has now truly attained the pinnacle of the pastry art field.
To me, a master pastry chef is somebody who masters his craft, who reach a very high level of all our different disciplines in our craft. It means sugar, chocolate, plated, and all that.
A certified master pastry chef is a pastry chef who has mastered their craft. They're an artist, a great business person, leader, a phenomenal craftsperson. They're someone who has taken the art and the craft to the greatest extent possible.
A certified master pastry chef, to me, is someone who has shown the competencies above and beyond what a regular, ordinary pastry chef would do. And by that I mean they are skilled and have expressed and shown the skills of anything that pertains to baking and pastry shop, so that they know how to manage it, they know how to run it, they know how to produce the showpieces, they know how to produce breads, the sugars, the sweets, the chocolates, the bonbons, all that, all things that a pastry chef in an establishment that does all things can produce.
Has really excelled at all areas in pastry, and is really great at doing every level of craftsmanship.
As someone that has the details, the overviewed look of things that are high end, very detail-oriented. Finish work is impeccable. You would see flawless work.
There's absolutely a range. You can have exceptional proficiency in baking, perhaps, and be a masterful chocolatier. I think all of us have our strengths and weaknesses. I think there's an expectation to see a high level of proficiency across all disciplines to achieve the master level.
I think it's precision is a key. Precision, organization, cleanliness.
For me, an employer would look at somebody with a level of certification and say they've been willing to put themselves out there to go through this, to prepare for it, to be at that level, it shows to me a willing of dedication, not giving up, working on yourself, not saying, well, do I need that? I'm good enough? I think at this level, we do it, for me it would be, I would be doing it for myself. It's not necessary to make more money, to impress upon somebody else. I think it's more of a personal satisfaction of a goal that marks a level that where you want to be at. I remember when Abel and I did the books, it was to hold those showpieces and those images in a place to mark the time of that place. And of course, with time, new techniques come and new things should evolve, which is part of the process, which is what makes our profession so interesting, is the evolution of what we do. But in that time and space, when you did those pieces, at that point you were working towards an excellent level, and that held that in history for somebody to go back and look at and monitor. And I think with the exams now, there's so much more out there that's visible through social media, through photography, and holding that record. If we look back at what was done 15, 20 years ago, there's almost no record of what was done in the tests, whereas now there should be. And how do we move forward then? And of course we're going to improve. It's part of what we should be doing. Things evolve.
When you hire certified executive chef, certified any kind of chef, that they've proven they're proven to have a set of skills. They've through the written tests demonstrated knowledge in these different specified areas, all of which are important to running an operation. Leadership, business management, sanitation. I think it's important to have a bar and to know where you are in relation to that bar through certification.
ACF accreditation and certification has impacted my career immensely. I'm just a kid from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And without ACF, it would not have opened up the doors of opportunity for me, but more importantly, my students and my program.
I think an employer should want to hire a certified chef at any level and know what they are hiring based upon those levels that they're looking for. By hiring a certified chef, whether it be an entry level or it be an executive level or even a master level. They should know what they're hiring and the skill set that they're going to get, as well as all of the other education that they should have behind them.
I can't say enough about ACF certification and how it's impacted me. My entire career is predicated upon ACF certification and competition. The friendships that I've made, the networking that has come about. Every chef that I worked for, I met in ACF competition. From my first one at Virginia Tech, went to a competition, met the next chef, and so typically people who judged me, and I would go work for them for a period. Certification for me was a progression. CEC, CCA. The next piece for me was becoming a judge. The next piece, becoming an evaluator. The next piece, become international judge. And so it was this progression I could lay out in front of me and say, okay, by this point I would like to achieve this level. And if that didn't exist, if that rubric didn't exist, that paradigm, I'm not sure what my career would have looked like, because I couldn't have structured it in such a way that I could lay out clear goals and achieve them. And I think that stands out on a resume. I hope it does. I'm always proud to give my resume to someone, because I think it clearly demonstrates through all of those certifications that I can start something and I can finish it. I've proven my competencies at these different levels increasingly over the years. So yeah, it's been huge.
I know that the new format for the CMPC being a 3-day could be looked at as a pretty drastic difference from before. But from what I've been able to see of it, I think it does push a lot of elements that are very important as far as skill set that need to be learned and shown that are exemplary for that position as well. I think it really is determined on the candidate that they can push themselves to be at the highest level of each one of those competencies. So I'm very excited to see it be changing and become something that could be more achievable for people.
Thank God we have something to go for. There was such a collective just deflating of the spirit of pastry chefs around ACF when it did not work for everybody the last time around. It's too long in coming, so I'm so happy to see that we are taking it now and doing something with it. 3-day, 5-day, 4-day, but just let's make it real, you know, and just make it about the competencies, not about killing somebody, making them work a 12-hour day, 4 or 5 days a week. That's not necessary to show the skill level and the mastery of the skills that we have. So I'm all about what that person's required to do. I'm all about them showcasing it, and we'll see what they do.
Not making it easier, but making it attainable in a time frame that is more congruent to the industry needs and demands. Most of these individuals are full-time employees, so trying to get a 10-day, off to do something like this. Also, the cost. A lot of the chefs that do this are not sponsored. The money is coming out of their own pocket to do this. So I feel that this is more in line with industry standards of today.
So I've been involved with the ACF for many, many years. When we first came to the States, we were guests and we would do demonstrations and presentations. And I remember being at the first ACF convention and we did a sugar demo. And at that time I was pregnant with Brittany. She's now 34 years old. So a long, long time. And I've worked a lot in education where ACF certification has been important for the education environment, but also for me, for me personally. I've done a lot of ACF competitions, and all along the way, I think it's important that we feed the organization. We want that. It's almost like a family, right? And that needs to be sustained, and we all need to do our part in that, and be a member of it and contribute to it. And it's there's no use just complaining about things. It's like, go make a difference, fix it, stop whining.
It's less demanding in terms of time. We're pulling chefs out of operations to prove these skill sets. Time is valuable to all of us. We work nights, weekends, holidays, depending on our operations, how large, how small they are. Not all of us can get away for 8 days, for 5 days. 3 days is certainly more achievable. Financially, I think it's more attainable, especially these days. Everyone's looking at the bottom line a lot harder. It's more difficult to get those things through the budget than it used to be. But I think more than anything, I think the most important thing for the ACF and for that master level of certification is that it's equitable and achievable for anyone working in any food operation in the United States. I think for far too long, we've seen a very small sliver of our industry who can take this and pass it. Certainly who can take it, fail it, take it again and pass it, who have the financial wherewithal, who have the support of their operation to achieve that. My hope is, and I think that's indicative of the test failing the student, not the student failing the test.
So with the 3-day format, obviously, I did go through the 8-day format. And I think the way it was written, it was almost unattainable. It was very grueling, and the test should be grueling. The tests should be hard. You're measuring a level of excellence. But if we can touch on all the main components, of our industry, whether it's, building a showpiece with different skill sets, creating, working with chocolate, working with petit fours, showing the building blocks of that, entremets, glazing, very, very clean construction, flavor balances, plated desserts. We're hitting on all those components.
I think it's absolutely essential. I think it's essential that student that comes in at 17, 18, 19 years old, however old they are when they come in, that there's an end goal that's achievable. I have clear steps to reach this. And, that might be my goal coming in as an 18-year-old. Okay, but, within 15, 20 years, this is where I want to be. I think back to 20 years ago when I was a cook. I worked for several different master chefs, staged for master chefs, worked for master chefs, and there were a selection of chefs that I could go work for, right? I'm going to go here, work for this person, I'm going to go here, work for this person, go here, work for this person. I don't know that that's true today. If I were now the same age and I'm looking for that pathway, I don't know that I could find the same number, the same selection of certified master chefs working in operations that I could learn from directly.
If we don't make these changes, it's going to die. So what do we want? Do we want something that's just in the past and 5 people in this country have? Or do we want to build forward like other countries do? Switzerland, France, England, Germany, countries worldwide they may have slightly different formats, but we have to make it attainable and manageable in today's world. And today's world in the pastry and the culinary industry has very much changed. Labor isn't the same. Our supply chains aren't the same. The cost of what we're doing isn't the same, but our guest expectations are still rising. So how do we meet those? So do you want to have something set that nobody's ever going to try again? Or do we want to change things and say we've got to move forward and make modifications based upon what is done today? When I did the test 6-7 years ago, the references of books that were given were books that were never checked out of the school library we were at. There was things on that test that I knew what they were because I'm old, but somebody in their 20s and 30s wouldn't know what it's done because that's just not done in the industry. But then there's other things that we're doing today, which we need to see, which are included in these proficiencies and these competencies that somebody should say, okay, yeah, you've reached a level. you're able to execute that to the level that is seen in a practical environment where you are under a watchful eye of evaluators, and it's your skill set within how you move and how you organize yourself in the kitchen, plus the presentation of the finished product, plus the taste of everything. So I think we cover the bases. Could we tweak and modify? But that's why we're here, to do that. But we need something that's not going to die, and we have to change.